So yeah, we covered houses. Who's this Brendan guy? Yeah, I'm kind of passionate about business and property. Those are the two things that I really enjoy. Obviously my family and spare time and all that stuff. But what gives me the right to kind of stand here and think I can teach anybody? Well, I kind of believe in an open source world where we share ideas openly, where we spend time with each other, where we interact with each other. And I happen to have had the benefit of building quite a few businesses over the years. Some of them horrible that crashed, some of them my passions that also crashed, some of them that did very well. And as a result, I made some decent money, and I can show you some tips on what I did to do that. I'm not saying that what I did was right. Maybe I just happened on something that worked. A lot of it is luck, but a lot of it's by design too. And a lot of it's just sheer hard work that ends up yielding results over time. So I've been an entrepreneur for about 18 years, so pretty much since I left high school. I went to Knysna High School, so I'm not standing here as a well-educated person, but I would say my education has never stopped. I read voraciously, and my results, if we had to look at that, I built some sizable business in terms of what I've done. Let's have a look at some of it. Plant hire company, pub, restaurants, DVD shop, import company. I built motorcycles. I was the first commercial custom bike builder in South Africa. I've done a marketing company, a branding company, an events company, an online marketing company that did for one client over 900 million rand in sales. I've done, and then my latest thing for the last 5 years that's kept me really busy has been offshore property. I exited the main company that I built there. Yeah, pull in. Come make yourselves comfortable. Thank you. So we built that company up over 5 years. We did, at last count, about $170 million in transaction value, of which we're currently managing about $100 million. So some of it was sales, some of it is under our portfolio. So that's kind of equivalent to a small property fund in South Africa, but we've done it offshore. I exited there last year, December. I'm now kind of just messing around. So I'm still doing some projects in the US, but I have a lot of free time. And that's why I want to kind of share with the community and see what comes out of it. And hopefully if we can create small businesses that make a big impact on their local environment, I think we can make a big impact on the world. So this is me getting started with that. And I'm quite surprised at the sheer volume of take-up that came out of that Facebook post. I'm actually blown away. So thanks everybody for being here. So that's a little bit about me. What we're going to do today, cover a little bit of the big picture, have a look at the world, some of the trends that are going on in the world. Why I'm looking at those trends, it's not to say that you should build businesses in those trends. I'm just saying if you intend to build a big business over time, if you get on one of those trends and you ride it with the rest of the world, what tends to happen is, rising tide raises all ships. So everybody gets the benefit if everybody's kind of building on those trends. So you can build a very big business in a very short space of time and make a lot of money if you happen to be building around one of those trends. If you're not on those trends, it's not to say it's wrong. It just means you're going to build a business that's not going to be as valuable, but if it serves your needs and it fulfills you, by all means build it. Like, your gift to the world is whatever you can bring, and most of the time if you can monetize that, it's going to be fantastic. We're going to talk about why now, why in this particular time on the planet we have a fortunate position to be able to leverage other people's talents, other people's time around the world through technology to be able to create incredible businesses in a very short space of time. Why you? I'll go to that. Some of the most important first step in business, I'll talk about that, and why it's actually about 90% of the most important follow-up steps in business through over time. The 3 phases, that's going to be practical stuff that you guys can take home. So I'm going to start with the big picture stuff, all the fuzzy rubbish, then we're going to get to actual practical stuff that you can implement on right now in your business, or your life, or your job, whatever it means, in order to grow your income immediately. So I'm hoping that everybody goes home with some value today for nothing, for free. It's just me hopefully giving back. And then some hacks that you can take home. So I'll share some resources if you want to take the education further on the path or a similar path that I've done. The books I've read, the sites I follow, the blogs I follow, some videos, all of that type of stuff. It might be quite a lot of information, so it's been kind of my life's learning, but I'll share that resource list with everybody so that they can take it home and pretty much take it from there on your own. So, guys, come in, eh? We've got some space here on the bench, and some chairs up front here, and 1 or 2 chairs here. If necessary, we can shift around, you can sit on people's laps, see what pops up. So just for those that did arrive a little bit late, please turn your phones to silent or off. Unless you're taking notes, obviously, then you can use your phone for that, but prefer just so we don't have any interruptions. And then any questions, just keep them for afterwards so we can keep the flow going fairly quickly, just to respect everybody's time that has to maybe leave within an hour or two. We're going to have a break in about 40 minutes, well maybe 35 minutes now, and then we'll carry on after that. I'm hoping to be here for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. But I got a lot of stuff in my head that I want to get out, so if it goes a little bit over time, just warn me. If you guys do need to go, please just sneak out, and then we can always catch up on Facebook or online afterwards. Okay, let's get into the big picture stuff.
When we live in a world of exponential technological advancements, what this literally means is that we have new construction kits for our reality, new tools with which to probe at the adjacent possible. So consider the implications, right? As Marshall McLuhan used to say, first we build the tools, and then the tools build us. We are designed by what we have designed. There are these feedback loops of mind, tool, and world that radically redefine our boundaries, that radically transform what it means to be human. To be human today is to crisscross the skies. To be human today is to create technosocial wonders. Mind-to-mind communication that overcomes the limits of time, space, and distance. So what do we do? Well, we need to radically reach out to one another in ways that we haven't before. There's a great line that says, empathy rarely extends beyond our line of sight. In other words, if it's out of sight, it is out of mind. But if anything, these wireless communication technologies are radically extending our line of sight. They're providing the ontological maps of the real. They're giving us the astronaut overview effect. We are seeing the big picture. We are seeing that we are the captains of spaceship Earth. And what shall we do? We need to extend our hands to one another. We need to have the tools to overcome all of the limitations of our humanity. We have the power, we have the will, we have the capacity, the creative capacity to overcome our limits. And so today, billions of us link into one another, creating a global node, a global brain. What is the new definition of billionaire? The new definition of billionaire is he who will positively affect the lives of a billion people. He or she will reach out and say, I will positively affect the lives of a billion people. This should be our goal. This is our responsibility. Here's our chance.
What do you guys think of that? Pretty cool, eh? So, I think if we have a look at, positively affecting the lives of a billion people, it's a big ask, yet more and more companies are doing it faster and faster than ever before. People are reaching massive amounts of people, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you've got something of value to give to the world, there can be a very speedy take-up. And you can get a lot of clients in a very, very short space of time. And if you just look at what happened with this Facebook post over a week, we have so many people in the room, and it cost nothing. It literally was one Facebook post on a community page. So if we start understanding that power and how to leverage it, and there are great marketing techniques to be able to do that. I'll share a couple of them with you guys later on. But the power has never been as great as it is right now for people to be able to reach an audience for what you sell, provide, whatever it is. We sit in a great space right now. So abundance, we live in a world where scarcity is sold to us all day long, every day. We have a drought in South Africa. We have monetary problems. We have business problems where we can't get enough clients. We don't have enough money. We feel this we don't have enough. But yet, when I look outside my window every day, I look at an ocean and I see, well, we have a drought here, yet we have more water than we know what to do with over there. So clearly there's not an abundance problem. Clearly there's an accessibility problem. So if we can access that water and move it from there literally 100 meters inland, immediately we fix the drought problem. So accessibility via technology, via whatever ideas you have in your mind, is the key to unlocking massive wealth. So if you can create the bridge you can become extremely wealthy in a very short space of time. And there are a lot of people doing that in water, whatever. To use another example, a homeless person standing on a corner begging and a Lamborghini drives past. You can see it, taste it, hear it, feel it as it goes past, but he can't access it. Why? What's stopping him? A lot of times it's mindset. People think it's about the access to education, the access to all of it's not. It's all about who you are and what you're prepared to do today to make a difference. So abundance is all around us. When we look up at the sky and we see stars scattered across the universe, the Hubble telescope looked at a spot in the sky for almost 4 years. One spot, tiny little spot. And what they realized in doing that was the more they looked at it, the more full of stars and galaxies it became. So much so, there was so much light that they had to stop looking at it eventually because there was no holes. So when we look up at the sky and we see holes, it's just infinite abundance around us all the time. We might perceive that there's a hole there, but the further we look, the more abundance there is. And when we turn that internally, we're starting to find, on the quantum physics side of things, we're not going to get into too much of that stuff today, but as we go down from physics to electrons and atoms and all the rest of that stuff, as we dig deeper and deeper, we're finding more and more new stuff that we can start using in the physical world. And that's creating opportunities like quantum computing, where we can like this computer is amazing and it's already 3 years old. But when we're talking about the speed of computing in order to be able to crunch the big data that's coming. So when I talk about big data, I'll explain it later. So these terms, I'll be unlocking them for you as we go through the talk today. But with quantum computing, we're talking about an exponential increase in the power of computing, which means eventually we'll be able to map our brains, facilitate integration between online, offline via our human bodies. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's going to be going on that's going to test the boundaries of human abilities. And when we understand that stuff, abundance is everywhere. It's all around us. Money. Let's talk about money for a second. Who here feels money scarce? 1, 2, 3. A few people. Yet we have trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars being traded online, offline, all day, every day. New companies are coming online. People create money out of nothing via the banks created via the fractional reserve system, where they loan money out against on a ratio of the deposits that are in the bank. So we create money out of nothing, and it's what we created, and it's a tool. It's not something that we need to lust after, or it's just a tool to facilitate what we need to create. So I think Walt Disney said it fantastically. I love that guy. He's an amazing inspiration for what he's created. And he said he doesn't make movies to make money. He makes money to make more movies. So if we start thinking about how we can tap into that sea of money that's there, all you need to do is just direct flow. You just say, well, there's a sea of it out there and it's flowing there, and I just want a little pipe of it to come my way, and then I'm going to distribute it out there. So become a conduit for money instead of a place where you want it to hoard. If you become a conduit for money, more and more will flow in. I can promise you that. It works. Why you? Give me some, let's make it a bit interactive. Who here feels that they need permission to start a business? Anybody? Nobody. That's great, because you don't need permission. You don't need permission to do anything. As long as you're not breaking the law, type of thing. But a lot of people think they need permission to start a business, or they need permission to add value, because there's a perception in the world that it's hard. But really all it is finding a problem. Usually the best way to do it is find a problem in your own life. If you fix that problem, there's 7 billion people on the planet. There's going to be a good chance other people are having the same problem. If you just sell that as a value add, you'll make money, as long as you sell it for the right price. So why you? It's really a case of what gift do you have to bring to the world. And when I see boatloads of traffic every day where people sit for an hour to 2 hours in the morning, hour to 2 hours in the evening, and the time in between, usually 60 to 70% of it sitting twiddling their thumbs, they've got a gift to give to the world, yet they're sitting there wasting their time every single day. So why you? If you guys can change, if there can be one little candle that comes out of today that makes an impact on another 5 people or another 10 people, and those create an impact, eventually we're going to fill this world with light. So let's do it. Goals. Let's talk about goals. Who here has been to any personal development stuff? Yeah. What do they teach? Share a little bit. Goal setting.
Yeah, goal setting, they teach you can do it if you want it. Perseverance, hard work.
Yeah, attainable, smart goals, that type of stuff, yeah? Target date. Exactly. Very powerful stuff. And it's, what if it's all bullshit? So it's going to be a little bit of, sorry, I apologize if I offend anybody, but that's just who I am, so, and I don't believe in hiding who we are, so that's it. You don't need goals if you wake up in the morning inspired to do what you have to do. It pulls you forward. Goals are there to push you. It's there to say, oh, I need a supercar. Then you write it down, put a target date to it. How much money do I need? But it's limiting at the same time. So let's say I love Aston Martin, I love Porsche, I love Tesla, I love all of them. Great shirt, by the way. So if I say I want a supercar, now I'm like, okay, let's write it down, let's do it. So how much does it cost? Let's go through a goal exercise. So I want an Aston Martin and it's 5 million rand. Okay. When do I want it by? Let's say 1 year. What do I work backwards from that, and how much do I need to earn to get that 5 million, or do I need to finance it, or what do I need to do to increase my income to be able to afford that? So then I write all of that stuff down, and then I write an affirmation about it. I want an Aston Martin, and I say it in the morning every day. You've seen Cool Runnings that seen in the when he's looking in the mirror. I need an Aston Martin, but what I really want, why do I want an Aston Martin? A lot of people want it for status. I love engineering. This is me, Brendan, personally. I'm a bit of a petrol head, bikes and cars and planes and all the rest of that stuff. Love it because it's proof of the ingenuity of human beings to be able to create something that's incredible. And I get the benefit if I just make some money. I get it. It's pretty fantastic. But the limitation is now, well, I've only got an Aston Martin. What if I want a Lamborghini as well? What if I want... So I've got to start questioning, why do I want the Aston Martin? And what I've found is if I design my goals around an experience, man, they're cheaper to get, a lot less work, and a lot more fun because they're not so limiting. So let me give you an example of that. I don't want an Aston Martin. I want to drive an Aston Martin around Nürburgring for 10 laps. That's what I actually want to do. I don't want to own it because I've already got 2 cars in the garage. I can't fit another one, so I've got to buy another house if I want an Aston Martin. So I don't need 5 million rand, I need 20 million rand. So it's all I want is the experience of driving an Aston Martin in Europe around the Nürburgring. So what's that going to cost me? Maybe 200,000 rand if I rent it for 2 days, go on a training course, fly over there, all the rest of that stuff. Now all of a sudden, I only need 200,000 rand. Is that a lot more achievable than 5 million rand? Yes. Why? Because all I want is the experience. So once I understand that and I design my goals around experiences, I find I achieve a hell of a lot more than of them in a very short space of time without any negative impact to my life. So I don't feel like a failure because I haven't bought my Aston Martin by the set date. Because the second I start feeling like a failure, I failed myself, I've broken a promise to myself, and then we start in a spiral of failure instead of in a spiral of success. So to make your goals more easily attainable and a lot more easy to visualize, just design them around an experience. And you'll find that they become very easy to achieve. You want to go on a holiday, design it around the experience. Who do you want to spend that time with? Why do you want to go on that holiday? What value is it going to add to your life? And you'll find it manifesting in your life very, very, very quickly. So affirmations. This is one of those things where I've had very good success with it. So when designing goals around experiences, what I do is I do a mind map. I don't know if you guys know this, but mind mapping stuff, this is the way I prepared for this talk today. Hopefully it works. But it's pretty much the way I design businesses, the way I design my life, the way I design anything I'm going to do is I mind map it first because it provides a little bit of clarity. And then what I do is I sum all of that stuff up into one phrase. So for example, if I'm going to say an affirmation that kind of covers most of the stuff that I want to achieve, a little bit of it's related to financial. So I'll say something like, I'm a money magnet, I'm tremendously successful, and I earn $1 million a year. And that's it. And I say that over and over again, I write it down 1,000 times, and literally, guys, I've got a pad that size, I write it down till my hand can't take it anymore. Because in writing, you're imprinting your brain, you're imprinting your subconscious, you're imprinting the universe to bring it to you today, because you're making it true. And if it's true, the universe must bring it to you. It's really that simple. So when we're talking about affirmations, just sum it up into one affirmation that covers all of those goals. And it makes it easy. And it makes it a mantra that you can run in your mind while you're driving. It makes it really, really easy to continue the affirmation. If you've got a whole long book that you've got to constantly recite of goals and stuff, you're never going to be able to maintain it as a life, as a habit. So in order to make it a habit, just make it easy. So I found these hacks in making it easy means I tend to follow through with it a hell of a lot more. Yeah. So why now? We covered some of that stuff on that video, but we happen to also be in South Africa. Now, South Africa has a lot of economic turmoil and a lot of political turmoil and all the rest of the stuff. So, yet, in the chaos, there's incredible opportunity. Let's take the new BEE legislation, for example. Who here thinks the BEE legislation is a bunch of bullshit and we shouldn't even be thinking about it? Not political at all here today. 2 or 3. Who here thinks BEE is really good and we should be following it with our hearts? Well, those people that kept your hands down, now you've got to put your hands up. Yeah. So, I don't care. Why? Because I understand that as long as I control certain elements in business, who cares who owns it? In fact, if we can uplift people through them thinking they own something, then let's uplift them. Why? Because the more we uplift everybody, the better our lives will be. Our purpose, well, one of my purposes on this planet is to spread joy. So I try and make things fun, have a laugh, have a lot of fun in my business, but at the same time, if I'm not uplifting people as often as possible, a lot of people all the time, my life tends to go into a bit of a doldrum and just start repeating the same stuff every day. I get bored, I get irritable, I start making cuck and spending money on stupid stuff. So it's, if we have a purpose and a goal to uplift as many people as possible, man, it's a lot of money to be made. So it becomes a cycle where value's on the one side, money's on the other side, and within it, everybody benefits. So the BEE legislation, for example, let's take that and analyze why I don't care. If I control the cash flow in a business, do I care whether I own it or not? No. If I've got a contract in place that says performance related, so I'm very much results driven. If I don't generate results, I don't deserve to be paid. If anybody believes that they do deserve to be paid over here in a handout society, what's going to happen is you're probably not going to get paid. It's really that simple. The market will just force you out and you'll end up being poor. It's actually simple. And I'm going to be very direct here today because there's just no time to not be direct and honest. We all have a limited amount of time on this planet, and we can't afford to mess around the edges of deep conversations. We need to get into them and have them. So let's say I'm starting a big company in South Africa and I can't get access to corporate clients because I'm not BEE compliant. What do we do? Get BEE compliant. It's that simple. So people think that we need to give away a portion of our business, but what happens if you find a shining light of a person that really adds value to your business and you give him 50% of the business, but you get one corporate client that doubles the value of your business? Your equity stake has not changed in terms of value. It might have changed in terms of ownership, but your equity stake has not changed in terms of value, in terms of money. So if we go about it from the right mindset, immediately there's opportunity there because everybody else is thinking it's horrible. So if you go in there and say, well, it's actually not that horrible, let me design a little system for a business that allows everybody to benefit. Do you think you're going to get a lot more clients in a very short space of time? Corporate clients, absolutely. I know a friend of mine right now who happens to be one of the most enlightened people and a friend and a mentor, and yet with the BEE changes, he had a great business, he sold the business and left the country. We all lose, guys. It's not I invest overseas. Why? Because I strongly believe in being a responsible investor. So I like my money to work for me, and I don't like seeing my wealth being destroyed by a rand that is driven to slide against the first world currencies because we're a commodity-driven country. So I invest overseas, but I spend the returns in South Africa. I live here. I travel the world. I don't believe that we should be beholden to a country just because we live here. The world's my playground, not South Africa. So if I want to move somewhere, I'm going to move. If I want to come back, I come back. And I have. I've lived in the UK for a while and in America for a very short space of time. And I might live there again. But that's because I choose to, because it's going to be fun. Not because I'm running away from anything. It's really that simple. So why now? In South Africa, if we use some of the farming stuff that's going on over here. So one of my good friends who's also a billionaire, so I tend to surround myself with people that are way better than me, way richer than me in all facets of life. Spirituality, I want people that are enlightened. Money-wise, I want people that are billionaires. If I'm trying to get there, I want to spend time with those people so that the little nuggets that they drop in normal conversation, you can pick up and start implementing in your own life. If I want to be fit and healthy, who here's got a CrossFit friend? What's the first rule of CrossFit? Talk about CrossFit. Second rule of CrossFit? Spread it online. So I've got quite a few CrossFit friends, and they become exceptionally passionate about it. Why? Because it works and it fulfills them. So when I want to be fit, and I spend time with a good mate of mine, Riley, who is a CrossFit junkie, all he does is he says, Brendan, these are the supplements you need to take. This is the general training regimen. So he's flippin' fit, muscle bound, great looking guy, but all I want to do is live a healthy lifestyle. So I get the benefit of all his knowledge, all his training, distilled down to what does Brendan need to do in 10 minutes a day in order to be reasonably fit and live a healthy lifestyle. So he's researching the supplements, he's researching the best stuff to be able to become the most fit person on the planet. And all I need to do is spend half an hour a week with him, and I get the benefit of that stuff. So if you surround yourself with people that are better than you in all the facets of life that you want to be better at, you will just, by osmosis, you'll become better. It's that simple. So let's look at another reason why now. Peter Diamandis is an amazing guy. Started the Singularity University and a couple of other cool things, the X Prize. Incredible guy.
Threats in the wake of bin Laden's death have spiked. Famine in Somalia.
Police covered ambitious cartel of the crude wars, societal decay, 65 dead.
Tsunami wave.
Cyber attacks.
Drug war. Mass destruction. Tornado. Recession. Default. Doomsday. Egypt. Syria. Crisis. Death. Disaster.
Oh my God. So those are just a few of the clips I collected over the last 6 months. Could have easily been the last 6 days or the last 6 years. The point is that the news media preferentially feeds us negative stories because that's what our minds pay attention to. And there's a very good reason for that. Every second of every day, our senses bring in way too much data that we can possibly process in our brains. And because nothing is more important to us than survival, the first stop of all of that data is an ancient sliver of the temporal lobe called the amygdala. Now, the amygdala is our early warning detector, our danger. It sorts and scours through all of the information, looking for anything in the environment that might harm us. So given a dozen news stories, we will preferentially look at the negative news. And that old newspaper saying, if it bleeds, it leads, is very true. So given all of our digital devices that are bringing all the negative news to us 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, it's no wonder that we're pessimistic. It's no wonder that people think that the world is getting worse. But perhaps that's not the case. Perhaps instead, it's the distortions brought to us of what's really going on. Perhaps the tremendous progress we've made over the last century by a series of forces are in fact accelerating to a point that we have the potential in the next 3 decades to create a world of abundance. Now, I'm not saying we don't have our set of problems. Climate crisis,
species extinction, water and energy shortage? We surely do. And as humans, we are far better at seeing the problems way in advance, but ultimately, we knock them down. So let's look at what this last century has been to see where we're going. Over the last 100 years, the average human lifespan has more than doubled. Average per capita income adjusted for inflation around the world has tripled. Childhood mortality has come down a factor of 10. Add to that the cost of food, electricity, transportation, communication have dropped 10 to 1,000-fold. Steve Pinker has showed us that, in fact, we're living during the most peaceful time ever in human history. And Charles Kenny, that global literacy has gone from 25% to over 80% in the last 130 years. We truly are living in an extraordinary time. And many people forget this. And we keep setting our expectations higher and higher. In fact, we redefine what poverty means. Think of this. In America today, the majority of people under the poverty line still have electricity, water, toilets, refrigerators, television, mobile phones, air-conditioned cars. The wealthiest robber barons of the last century, the emperors on this planet, could have never dreamed of such luxuries. Underpinning much of this is technology, and of late, exponentially growing technologies. My good friend Ray Kurzweil showed that any tool that becomes an information technology jumps on this curve, on Moore's law, and experiences price performance doubling every 12 to 24 months. That's why the cell phone in your pocket is literally 1,000,000 times cheaper and 1,000 times faster than a supercomputer of the 70s. Now look at this curve. This is Moore's law over the last 100 years. I want you to notice two things from this curve. Number one, how smooth it is. Through good time and bad time, wartime and peacetime, recession, depression, and boom time. This is the result of faster computers being used to build faster computers.
Going to stop it there. It's about a 16-minute talk. It'll be on the list of resources that I'll share with everybody later, but I highly recommend that you watch it, take notes, because there are some nuggets in there that are absolutely phenomenal on the trends, the technologies we should be focusing on, and which ones we should be building on top of it to benefit from really, really fast uptake around the world. So why start a business? Let's get started over here. We're going to do 5 more minutes and then we're going to have a quick break. So give me some ideas. Why start a business?
Flexibility, maybe.
Flexibility. In what way? Time or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not initially, but
Yeah. What's the definition of an entrepreneur? That person who will not work 40 hours a week for someone else, but will work 80 hours a week for himself. Yeah. So usually because it's driven by passion or need to get out of money. Okay, so flexibility.
Independence.
Independence.
Make money.
Haha, I like that one. I spell independence. E or A?
A.
Okay. Money, profit. Yes.
To make a
Favorite.
difference in the community.
Make a difference. Thank you. Purpose. Do you mind if I summarize it like that? Well, we'll just try to make a difference. So I'm going to just expand on that quickly before we get some more ideas. One of the trends I'm going to talk about when we come back from the break is if you build a business on a technology platform, like he's talking about there on the exponential curve, that also makes a difference to the planet, man, you can get a lot of money. 1, through profits. 2, through venture capital firms. 3, through governments and grants, that type of stuff. There are a host of people looking to give people money in order to make a difference on the planet. And if you look at, let's take Elon Musk as an example. He said, I'm going to build the best car on the planet. It just happens to be electric. Why? Because you go from 30,000 parts in a car to 400. You go to solar power, so you can drive for free. You go to less services. You go to a whole host of benefits. Just because it's a much better way to build a car. And people buy it because it's making a difference to the planet at the same time. So they get the same usage, can dice a Ferrari with a 4-door saloon, and it costs you nothing for the rest of your life. I think that's pretty cool. So, make a difference, yes. Any other ideas? Why start a business?
Master of your own destiny.
Master of your own destiny. So I think that's independence.
Job creation.
Job creation, that's cool.
And also to build a legacy, to create your own.
Legacy. Cool. I like that. We all think we're going to live forever and we make decisions as if we're going to live forever. Yeah, it's a wake-up call, guys. All going to die. At least most of us. Because I think Ray Kurzweil and Google are going to fix that within the next 20 to 30 years. You'll have to choose. If you can live 30 years from now, you can choose whether you want to live or die. How cool does that sound? It's going to challenge religious beliefs, spirituality, our own personal decisions, everything. So you can have a choice to choose to be immortal. Pretty scary stuff, but I think it's pretty exciting at the same time. Legacy. Any other ideas? I think that covers a lot of it. I think except for one thing. Personal fulfillment. Yeah, and maybe some fun. Fulfillment. Yeah, you guys know what I mean. The brain's going too fast. So let's keep going for a couple of seconds. Time, we covered that. Fun. So here is me having some fun in my business. I don't own a jet, but I get to fly in one on an investor's trip to go look at a project. That's me second from the right over there. I know it's a bit blurry. That's kind of fun. I don't know if you guys enjoy that. That's Randy Zuckerberg, Mark Zuckerberg's sister. I got to spend some time with her in Orlando about 2 years ago. Got to go to the Hong Kong Sevens last year. That's me doing a somersault with my daughter at the jump around on the road here. That's us presenting to 300 people in Joburg about crowdfunding and real estate investment. That's when I started my offshore property company, branded my car, branded the trailer, and got going. That was it. Total investment there was about 25,000 Rand. Besides the cost of the car. Bought it on auction, 57 grand. So that's me in the Grand Canyon on another buyer trip where we had investors over. That was the very first one I did in 2012. I've done 21 buyer trips and we've helped about 2,000 people invest offshore. And it started on that particular trip. And the reason we started taking investors with us was it was fun. So I got bored doing the same thing, going to look at. If you've seen one house or one commercial building, you've seen them all. Okay, it's an office. Okay, here's the kitchen. I'm like, I don't care. Just show me the numbers. But here's another tip. If you're going to create a business that's transactional, it's going to be boring. You're not going to have fun. Clients aren't going to have fun, and you're probably going to do almost no sales. If you create a business that is experiential, it's going to be fun. It'll make an impact on the world, and you get to, do something that's a lot more fulfilling. What's a good example? So 1950s, 1960s, you want to have a piece of cake. Go to the store, buy the flour, the ingredients, eggs, mix it up yourself. Hopefully you have a recipe that your grand made that was awesome, and you end up with a cake and it costs you a couple of cents. 20 years later, we now forced into a society via media that we need a dual income family. So the mom has not learned how to bake a cake anymore. She's now learned how to become an accountant. So she goes to work every day, doesn't have the time. So the stores start selling ready-baked cakes. So it's a transaction. You need a cake for your party, there it is, cost 50 Rand. Cool, got a cake. Nothing that you have to do to it, but you have a cake. Great. Now all of a sudden we're in an age where it's not about the cake anymore. It's about, I want to learn to bake, because my daughter's really special to me, so I want to give that value into that cake. I want to put my time into it. So I'm going to go find a chef, teach me to make a cake at the same time as me making the cake, and then somehow I've instilled that love into that cake. It ends up costing me 2,000 Rand to bake a cake instead of 50 Rand to buy it, or a couple of cents to bake it myself. So in creating a transactional business, it tends to be boring, but people want experiences. So we've designed our business around experiences. So when I take people across, 70-80% of the time is spent traveling. We'll be in a plane, on a bus, whatever the case be. Nick has been fortunate or unfortunate enough to come with me on one of those trips. Was it fun?
It was, great.
Yeah. So we go to ball games, we tour New York City. Literally in one day I can show you about 80% of the top sites in New York City. Flights in, what happened there? Through the Grand Canyon, etc. So make your business fun and experiential. That's my mom over there in a gyrocopter going for a flip. My wife's a gyrocopter pilot. That's me and my ex-partner Scott. We just came back from a rodeo show in Oklahoma City. So make it fun, guys, and experiential, and it will be amazing because you'll have a lot of fun at the same time, and you'll be able to give your gift to the world in doing that. And I think before we go to the 5 monkeys, let's go have a quick break. Yeah, cool.
It's actually nice to hear a new take on goals, because most of the time, no one really has ever said work around the experience, but that's really what we all crave.
That's what we crave. Yeah, that's it. So I started doing that last year. I'll give you an example. So I wanted to buy a dirt bike, and I didn't know why. And I was like, I just want a dirt bike. So, and then I was like, no. Let me talk. So that whole little shift that happened to me around experiences was I had a date and all the rest of the stuff they teach. And then I was like, hold on. So I phoned my mate up, Terence, who has a dirt bike, and I don't have a dirt bike. And I said, dude, we are booking a holiday away on this date. So I put it in the ground and I bought it for his birthday. So now he couldn't back out, I couldn't back out, and we made it a family thing as well. So we went up to Swaziland, took the whole family with, and it was amazing. But I had to buy a bike for that experience or rent a bike, one of the two things. So what it did was, it said all I wanted to do was have an experience with a mate of mine in the farms and the back roads and the dirt roads in Swaziland. And I was like, well, and once I had that in my mind, it became so real that there was no way it was not going to happen. And truth was, we went on a holiday, I bought the bike the week before, so everything landed in my lap for it to happen. And it was an amazing experience. And now I've done a lot of those things around it. So my business is designed around experiences, my goals are designed around experiences, and what I've found now is I've got so much more free time to do this stuff. Because I'm no longer, I wanted to build a big business, so I bought Wealth Migrate up to a very big valuation, confirmed, where we actually raised money against it, so it was confirmed by people. And my life was like corporate, and I was like, oh my god, I'm not a corporate dude. I've got to rock up at work every day, I've got to do reports, I've got to do this, but I'm a creator by sort of spirit, So if I'm in a corporate environment, I tend to shrivel up and die. So I found I created what I hated because I thought it was what I wanted. Yet when I just said, well, I just want to design a business around spending time with great people, having a lot of fun, and making money. If I just combine those three, I don't need a big business. All I need to do is just do those three things, and money will happen as a byproduct to keep me doing those things. So I find designing goals around experiences to be way better than anything else that the personal development stuff is teaching. And that's just my little personal twist on it. I haven't seen it yet in any of the books, courses, stuff that I've read anywhere.
Well, if you look at the two words that you use, experiential and transactional, the other way, I think, is transactional. It's just kind of boring. And if it's not exciting, you're not going to want to do it anyway.
Why do you want a big house?
If you don't have the numbers and the transactions, you don't make the money. And that's what we're all slaving away for.
Yeah, so it's, we have to have some fun, guys. And we spend our life not having fun, but it will waste it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, no, I like having a lot of fun. The toys in my house are way too many. It's always about fun. Rubbish. Okay, the 5 monkeys. Who has read about 5 monkeys somewhere online or heard about it?
I've heard about it.
Just about the 12 monkeys.
12 monkeys, yeah. Great. Yeah, you said you?
I don't know if that's the same monkeys, but I've heard of them like good, evil, and that's got to do with
No, not that one. So it's could be maybe elements of it, but the 5 monkeys is you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. That's the general supposition. So I spoke about it earlier.